Russia and Syria are weaponizing migration as an aggressive strategy towards Europe, the senior NATO commander in Europe has said. U.S. General Philip Breedlove also said criminals, extremists and fighters were hiding in the flow of migrants. Migrants are continuing to accumulate in Greece, after Macedonia stopped allowing more than a trickle through. New figures suggest last year's total of 1 million seaborne migrants could be reached this year months beforehand. The International Organization for Migration, IOM, said nearly 129,500 migrants had arrived by sea so far in 2016, plus another 1,545 by land, and 418 had drowned or were missing. The European Commission has now adopted plans to disperse 700 meters, £543 million, $760 million, of emergency humanitarian funding between 2016-18 to help tackle the crisis, says Humanitarian Aid Commissioner Christos Stylianides. The crisis has caused tensions to surge, with Greece struggling to cope with the influx and the European Commission criticizing Macedonia for using tear gas on a crowd of migrants on Monday morning. "The scenes we just saw are not our idea of managing the crisis," said ex-spokesman Margarita Snas. In the jungle camp of migrants at Calais, France, the demolition of the southern half of the camp continues, in what the government has termed a humanitarian operation but which critics say will just leave hundreds of desperate migrants without shelter in winter. Russia and Syria's leader Bashar al-Assad, Gen Breedlove said, were deliberately weaponizing migration in an attempt to overwhelm European structures and break European resolve. He cited the use of barrel bombs, unguided weapons, against civilians in Syria. The only purpose of these indiscriminate attacks was to terrorize Syrian citizens and get them on the road to create problems for other countries, Gen Breedlove said. Gen Breedlove added that violent extremists, fighters and criminals, including elements from the extremist Islamic State group, were in the mix of migrants. He said he had requested more U.S. forces be permanently based in Europe. Their numbers have dropped from a Cold War high of 500,000 to about 62,000 today. Gen Breedlove is the head of the U.S. European Command as well as NATO's Supreme Allied Commander Europe. He told the U.S. Senate Armed Services Committee that the crisis was allowing Russia to use non-military means to create divisions in the NATO alliance and Europe.